Hi guys, I wanted to make a video to talk about opinion writing or argumentative writing. What we're looking at right now, this is the constructed response scoring guide on TA's website. Anybody can download this. It's 2022 STAAR grades 3 to 5. Now, this one is a fifth grade released STAAR that they put in the scoring guide. So they did not give a third grade or a fourth grade example. They only gave fifth grade and they kind of put it in a range of third to fifth grade. So I kind of wanted to go over and kind of analyze what I noticed about the opinion writing. And from that, what we as teachers need to teach our students to be able to do when they are writing opinion writing. So, as you probably know, the ECR that's going to be on the STAR test for third grade and up, it can either be argumentative or informational. And I've mostly talked about informational, but I wanted to give some attention to opinion writing or argumentative. So, here's the passage that the fifth graders read, Steam and Sail, and it went over the different boats. It talked about the steamboat, it talked about the clipper, and basically like a compare and contrast. So after they read that, they had a short constructed response. I'm going to skip through that because right now I just want to talk about the ECR and look at why they got the score they did. So there's the rubric that you guys have seen probably before. Um, all that's there. And then it goes into conventions. You've seen that. Okay, so these scored a 0. Obviously, they're very short, and overall, it doesn't really have anything to grade. So I can understand why that got a 0. And you'll notice that on the scoring guide, it'll say organization and development 0. So that one is a total possible score of 3. So they got a 0 out of 3. Conventions, they can get 2 points. So 0 out of 2 on that one. So I think it would be a good lesson to show students what was a 0, just so they can kind of see. This one scored a 1, which is interesting. Look at all those lowercase i's. They did get a 0 for conventions, but they did have 1 point out of 3 for the organization and development. And you can read this paragraph and it'll tell you why they got that score. So I think this is really helpful for teachers to just kind of look through and see why they got the scores they did. This one got a score of a 2, so it got a 1 for organization and a 1 for conventions. Still super short, right? This one here is a little bit longer, and that one got a 2 for organization and a 0 for conventions. So let's look at why it got a 0. As you can see, there's absolutely no periods. There's 1 period, 2 periods. So I think when they say grade level conventions, they're talking about fourth graders or fifth, in this case, fifth graders. They should be able to put periods theoretically. So that is definitely something that I noticed, that they will not pass on the conventions area if they don't have periods. The spelling, I've noticed, is not as big of a deal as the periods and the capitals. When you go through and read the comments, you can see for yourself that, it does talk about spelling here, but it talks about spelling if they spell simple words wrong, then it impacts the clarity, then they really seem to ding for that. But periods for sure. So that's something you definitely want to focus on, is mini lessons on fragments and run-ons and how to write a complete sentence. Okay, so then you get into the better ones. So this one is a score of a 2 for organization and development, and it scored a 1 for conventions. This one is a lot longer. This one got a 2 for organization and only a 1 for conventions. So this was only a 3, which doubled would be a 6. So that is approaching the standard. That's still not meets on the actual, if you're separating just the essay. And so if you read this, you can see the organization. And like I said, it does go into detail about why it got that score. So I think this would be a great professional development just to go over these different scores and why they got the scores. This one got a 2 and a 2 for conventions, which is the highest possible. So if you look at this one, they still have some errors, but it's much higher level language. Okay, now we're going to go into the good stuff. So here we get into this one got a 3 for organization and a 1 for conventions. So starting to form paragraphs here. You notice that. Then this one got a perfect score. So I want to focus on the ones that got a perfect score. And I want you to notice that they still have mistakes. They're not perfect. So this one got a perfect score. It has a number 2, which I would, if I was conferencing, I would say take that out. But notice the transitions. First of all, lastly, in conclusion. The question was basically which ship would they change the US more? Was it the Clipper? Was it the Clipper ship or was it the other boat? What was the name of the other boat? Anyway, they all said the Clipper ship, basically everyone. So this student started off, there were many ships, railroads, and other kinds of transportation that helped change and modernize the US more. In that specifically ships. Now there are many kinds of boats and ships, but I think the Clipper ship changed the United States more. Notice they are copying directly from the passage, from the question. So those people that are saying, don't restate an answer, it's too formulaic. It's not. This is exactly the words in the question. So that is, in my opinion, a great skill. They have to be clear and they have to answer the question. Can they add in a bunch of fluff or a creative introduction in front of it? Yes. Do they have to? No. So you will notice that they started off with their reason in each paragraph, and then they gave their text evidence, and then they explained it. So I'm just going to look at this one paragraph. First of all, the Clipper ship helped bring tea countries in a much faster way. Tea was in a greater demand for an all-time high, so the Clipper ships helped bring those tea in a much faster way and could handle many sails. Some ships had more than 30 sails. The first American Clipper ship made the trip to London a month faster than the older ships. So the reason for that is bringing the tea faster. And you'll notice that each paragraph starts off with the reason and then the text evidence and then they explain. So that's why it's really important, in my opinion, that they follow that organizational structure. And then let's look at another one. This one was also a 10, 3 for organization, 2 for conventions. Same thing. In my opinion, first, next, last. I like to analyze these and look for a pattern. What do they all have? What do all the 10s have that the other ones don't? You can see the organizational structure, their ideas are clearly explained. This introduction starts off with, in my opinion, I think that steamboats changed more lives than the Clipper did. So they are directly restating the question and answering it. There's no fancy grabber or hook that comes before that. It's just plain and simple. But I did notice that the introductions are more than one sentence. So I think that is an important point. And even the sum it up is more than one sentence. So things that I noticed that I wanted to share with you. If they talked about both boats, they got a 0. If they talked about the evidence, but they did not explain it, they got a 1 out of 3 for organization. I already told you that I observed that the introductions and conclusions are a few sentences each. They summed up the reasons in the conclusion paragraph. So if you look at all of the last paragraphs of the ones that got a 10, it'll sum up all the reasons. Then each reason is a paragraph supported by evidence and explained. They all have transitions. They're all full of transitions. Do you see any quotation marks? I don't see any quotation marks. This got a perfect score of 10. So it is mostly paraphrased. Let's look at another 10 just to make sure. This one, do you see any quotation marks? I don't. So mostly paraphrased. This one, paraphrased. So I think that that's a higher level. I don't know why. I think if you look at some of the lower ones, they might have quotation marks, but overall I would say that like this one has quotation marks, but it only got a score not because of that, but so it'll be interesting to see how they score those. But I would say teaching the students how to paraphrase is definitely going to be a great idea. Word choice, if you look at the word choice in the tens, it has excellent word choice. And you can go through and read these yourself. Um, but basically, I created a resource where the students cut up the example of an opinion writing, and each of the sentences are color coded. So they kind of put it together like a puzzle. And while they're doing that, they are learning the structure of opinion writing. So if you're interested in that, follow me on my Facebook page and I'll put it in the link. But it is Teaching RLA with Carlin Laborio. And you can follow me on there where I put videos and different resources and things that can hopefully make your life easier and help you to be successful teaching ECRs. So let me know if you have any questions. I hope this video helped you just to see a little bit about what to expect with opinion writing. I also wanted to add Storyworks has amazing debates. If your district is able to buy it, it is, and I don't work for Storyworks. I do not get commission, but I do think it's fabulous and it has great debates that would be good for opinion writing. If not, you can, pull any type of compare contrast essay and ask the students which one is which one does this or which one shows this. With a debate, you can just ask them which side they are on, and they have to back it up with text evidence. So if you want to see an example of that, check out my Facebook page, and I have examples of opinion writing. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great night. Bye.